All right, so we're going to get started with the next presentation. And next you will be hearing from Residential Life and Housing and Auxiliary Services. These presenters will be explaining to you what it is like to live on campus and the different opportunities that housing presents to you. This is your chance to hear about roommates, residence halls, and how Creighton can become your home away from home. If you are a commuter student, though, this is your opportunity to learn more about the resources available to you. So please make your way to the Creighton Intercultural Center, and our guide page down here at the front will lead you to the room. Any commuter students? Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Paige. So, at this time, I would like to introduce our presenters this morning, Ms. Kristen Rapolo, the Assistant Director of Residential Life, Danny Steiner, the Housing Assignments Coordinator, and then Residential Life themselves. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Oh, Tom, you hear me? Oh.
Hello.
This one. Good morning, everyone. My name is Danny Steiner, and I'm the Housing Assignments Coordinator here at Creighton. So I work with students on their housing assignments, meal plan assignments, contracts, those kinds of things. And today we're going to talk a little bit about living at Creighton for this next session. And to help me do that, we have some people here from our professional staff and a student as well. So we're going to introduce ourselves real quick before we get started. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cameron Miser. I'm one of our resident directors here in one of our sophomore community halls called Kennefic Hall.
Hello. Oh, is that the one that doesn't work? Sorry. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Yay, this is exciting. It works. My name is Chris Hill. I am a first-year resident director. This is my second year here, and I will be in Gallagher Hall, so super excited.
Hello and good morning. Hello. I'm Trevor Sandage, and I'm the president of our Inter-Residence Hall Government, and I'll talk more later. Thanks.
Okay, good morning, students and families. My name is Kristen Rapolo. I'm the Assistant Director for Residential Life. In my role, I work with the resident directors who shape the community that your student will be living in next year.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of basically what we're going to be talking to you about today. So as Autumn kind of alluded to, we'll talk to you all about what it means to be a residential student here at Creighton University. We'll talk to you about what it's like living in the residence halls, what kind of resources you have in us, as well as our other staff, and then as well as our Housing and Auxiliary Services staff to provide the resources and needs that you all have. So we'll go over that real quick here. So as Autumn also alluded to, this is open to everyone, even if you are a commuter student, if you're living in Omaha. We want to make sure that you understand what it's like to be in the residence halls, as I'm sure you'll be visiting them. You'll make friends. You want to go in the residence halls and just converse with them as well and have a good time there. So I want to make sure you have a good understanding of that as well. All right. I'm actually going to turn over to Chris here. He'll talk to us a little bit about who we are as a department.
Sweet. Yay. So as Cameron alluded to, I'm going to talk about who we are. This is super exciting. So just to allude, the Department of Residential Life has a huge amount, a lot of people, super exciting. So starting with me, I'm a resident director. So just some little bit of context, all the resident directors are master level professionals. And so we also live in a building. And so we're charged with supervising not only the student staff members that live in the hall, but also to guide how the creation of the community happens within each of the halls. In addition, so other facets of residential life include talking about living student staff members. And so right now we currently have two positions. We have the assistant resident director as well as the resident advisors. And so these students have reached either junior or senior level standing. They too also live in the hall, super exciting. And then also with this, they are served as your mentors. They're there to kind of foster that community. And then lastly, they're there to kind of help you during your transition to college. Now transitioning to another group of facets of residential life is our environmental services. These humans are awesome. They're there to help clean and make our buildings great and amazing. We ask that you please respect them by helping to kind of clean up after yourselves, so that way we can help assist them, as well as not to make the building any worse, as, kind of keep it together. Super exciting. So as we talk about environmental services, we transition to talking about our desk receptionists. So each year, the Department of Residential Life hires students to serve as desk receptionists, and they serve at the front desk 24 hours, 7 days a week. The desk receptionists help to kind of facilitate any kind of facilities work order requests. So in the event if anything happens in your room that breaks down, you can come to the front desk to kind of fill those work order requests. If you need any cooking utensils or any books or movies, you're able to rent those out in the front desk, and the desk receptionists help with that. And then lastly, there's the first line of defense for any safety security measures. So they're helping to facilitate any guest policies, as well as they're there to answer any questions that you may have. Transitioning from desk receptionists, we're going to talk about the super exciting health aides. Yes, campus health aides, super exciting. So for any medical concerns that you might have either after hours or you have it during the weekends, we have campus health aides, and they're there to help support you. They are they're on an on-call rotation, and they're there to kind of connect with our campus on-call provider. And so if there's any minor sprains, minor cuts, or you have the flu, just that range of options there. They're there to help you through that medical crisis. We also have hall chaplains, and they are, each freshman residence hall is assigned a hall chaplain. And so it varies either if it's a Jesuit or a lay chaplain, and they serve as that connection between campus ministry as well as our Jesuit tradition. And then lastly, we have a connection with housing services. We work close with them throughout the year to make sure that our building we keeping our residents happy as well as safe within the residence halls. And so during the summer, you all be in much communication with housing services to help solidify your housing assignment. Yay.
All right, so I'm going to talk to you all about what to bring to campus. Have you guys started shopping yet for your residence hall room at all? Yeah? Good. So we're going to play a little bit of an interactive game right now. Probably good to get up and maybe be a little bit engaged. We have some candy here for you all, so I know you all like candy, or hopefully do. So I want to hear some things that you think you should bring to campus. Just shout some answers out. Towel racks. That's good.
Microwave, refrigerator.
You guys ready to catch? Okay, mini fridge is way up there. That good answer. Bring yourself. We're working on the throw technique. Computer, that's a good one. What was that? Okay, so I'm hearing some good answers. What else? What'd you say? Deodorant, that's a good one. Toiletry items. There's some over here. There we go. Oh, I'll get you. Here you go. Yep. Okay, so you guys had some good answers on what to bring to campus. One thing I do want to include in that, I heard somebody say a refrigerator, mini fridge, or a microwave. This year we're doing something different. We're offering a rental program for those two items. It's a really cool setup. It's a mini fridge with a microwave built on top, so it saves a little bit of space. Right after this presentation, we're going to have some tables open, different resources, different departments on campus. The living table, you can go to that one to learn a little bit more about that program. You also get more information later on this summer on that. So we talked about what to bring, but now we're going to talk about a few items not to bring. So general overview of those things. So first item on there, full-size couches. We ask that you don't bring that. I'm sure our summer preview guys would appreciate not bringing a full-size couch up a couple flights of stairs. Also, the residence hall rooms are, if you haven't toured the halls yet, space is a premium. So we want to make sure that we're conserving as much space as possible in there for learning and other activities as well. So microwaves over 1.2 feet tall. Another thing there, again, if you get in our refrigerator microwave rental program, don't have to worry about that. And full-size fridges over 6 feet, really tall refrigerator. Again, I'm not sure how you're going to get that in the residence halls, but we ask that you just bring a regular mini fridge with you. This one's important. So anything with an exposed burner or flame, so we're talking about candles, toasters, toaster ovens. We definitely don't want to start a fire. You don't want that reputation in your first semester as a Creighton student to be the person that set the fire alarm off, right? So probably not a good thing. Next thing, along those same lines, halogen lamps. So regular lamps, regular light bulbs, you want to bring those. Halogen lamps are a fire hazard. And then the last thing, which Chris will talk to you a little bit more about our policies here for on-campus students, as well as Creighton students, just any items prohibited by the Student Code of Conduct, which I do encourage you all to read. It's a riveting summer read, but just make sure you look over that so you're aware of what policies we have here at Creighton.
Policies. Dun, dun, dun. Yay. So, as a Creighton student, we asked you all to uphold many of our policies that we have here on campus, as well as state laws. So I will identify two of those things that we kind of lay out as our expectations. We have the Creighton University Student Handbook, as well as our housing agreement. And so while I would love to sit here and listen to the smoothing styles as I read to you the entire student handbook, that would be awesome. I'm going to only highlight 3 policies that we feel would be pertinent. So the very first policy is the visitation policy. So the very first one, so you can't have guests come visit you. That's exciting. But we do ask you to adhere to some policies with that. So the first scenario, so if you have a friend coming in to visit you from another residential hall in Creighton, and so they have a Creighton ID, what we would do is ask you between the hours of 9 p.m. and 9 a.m., make sure that both you as well as your friend go check in at the front desk. Make sure that your friend have that Creighton ID with them to just check in at the front desk between those hours. Now let's say you have another friend coming to come visit you. They are not from Creighton. But so in that scenario, 24 hours, they would always have to be checked in, and you'd have to make sure that they, as a guest, they have some form of state-issued or of ID that has a photo on it. So state-issued ID, driver's license, an ID from another institution, etc. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Awesome. Another thing I would like to point out about our visitation policy. So let's say you have a friend visiting you who identifies with the opposite gender of yourself. I know, ooh, right. We do ask you, they are not permitted in the residential hall past 1 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and then 3 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Oh, yeah, right, okay. The next policy I want to point out to you all is the drug and alcohol policy. This one is super cut and dry. So, as data has shown, first-year students are between the ages of 17 and 18, which is far lower than what the 21 age range policy is. So, none of you all should be consuming alcohol or owning it in your residential hall, right? Makes sense? Yeah, cool. Also, with the state of Nebraska, if you are in possession or using any illegal substances, it's also prohibited. So, long story short, just not have it all. Great, yeah, super exciting. And then the last one, we're going to talk about pets. So, as you're moving in August, you might think, you know what would make this room amazing? A pet. Oh, that's a great question, right? And so here in the Department of Residential Life, we do welcome you to have 1, maybe 2 fish. And we ask for 1 or 2 fish because the tank requirements, the tank has to hold at least 10 gallons. And so don't think of getting like a school of fish. We're going to just, Finding Nemo, don't do it, it's a lot. But all other pets, so even if your cat is named Fish, unfortunately they are not welcome in the residential hall. I'm sorry. Yay, and so that's all the policies I'm going to bring up to you. So now we're going to transition to talk about safety. Yay, so show of hands, how many of you think safety is important? Yeah, that should be everyone. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. So here at the Department of Residential Life, SOAS safety is our top priority. Why is safety important? Let me tell you. So safety helps out a lot in terms of us to help build community within the residential community, as well as it helps support you as you develop into a Creighton student. Super exciting. So as I stated earlier, the desk receptionist works 24 hours, 7 days a week, and they're kind of that first line of defense. And so they're there to kind of monitor any unsafe behavior. They're kind of checking IDs, making sure that whoever lives there should be there, and if anyone's not there, they're providing that proper identification. In addition, what you may not realize is that you as a Creighton student also help with our safety policy. So if at any time you monitor any unsafe behavior, if there's any time you're, when you're checking into a building, making sure that others are too checking into the building, either with their Creighton ID or checking at the front desk. And then if at any time you do see any behavior that you feel deemed is unsafe, making sure that you're notifying public safety or at least someone so that that incident can be addressed. Additionally, we do have public safety officers. They do rounds within our residential halls, multiple rounds throughout the day. And so they're there to be a presence within the hall, as well as they're also combating many of those things that may happen in the halls that, again, are unsafe and that things that we don't want. Also, an additional service, we do offer a shuttle service as well as J-Ride. Yes, J-Ride, that's what it's called. And that happens after hours. And so with that, they help to transport students to various locations throughout campus.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our roommates. So we talked a little bit about what to bring to campus. That question's probably best answered in tandem with your roommate. So we'll be announcing the hall assignments for you guys the week after the 4th of July. So when we send that communication to your Creighton email, you'll get the hall that you'll live in, the specific room you'll live in, and then we'll also send along information about your roommate. We'll give you their contact information and their name so you guys can talk a little bit about living together prior to arrival. Now, since May 15th, we've had this roommate search process open in the housing portal. We've seen a lot of students go through that, and they've been identifying roommates that way. Typically speaking, a little less than half of each incoming class identifies a roommate through the roommate search portal, which is in the housing portal. So some of you have been doing that. This is another good way to meet potential roommates, when we come here for summer preview. So if you've connected with someone, make those connections and solidify it in the roommate search portal because that has to be done before June 20th when it closes so we can make those assignments so you can be with that roommate you selected. And like I said, the other half of students don't select a roommate in that process. So if you haven't started to look through the roommate search portal or you're not interested in doing that, you're not behind. Everyone will get a roommate. We'll match you to a roommate based upon answers in your application to profile questions. And then you'll get that information about who that roommate is when we announce the assignments the week after the 4th of July. So if you guys have specific questions about the roommate search portal, I'm happy to answer them. I'm going to have a table right outside the door here following the presentation today, so I can come and answer those for you. But good roommates are more than just about the stuff like we talked about bringing. And so to talk about kind of the things that make for a good roommate living situation, Kristen's going to come up and talk a little bit about that for us.
Thank you, Danny, for explaining the roommate process and how you find one on the portal. And so I'm going to take a brief aside and talk about what's it like to live with a roommate and what happens when you have conflict. And so first, we're going to take a very official poll. And so this is for the family members in the room. And so family members, raise your hand if you have had a roommate in the past. Excellent. Okay, so there's a lot of people that have had roommates. Now, if you raise your hand because you had a roommate, raise your hand if you ever had a conflict or a disagreement with that roommate. Okay, keep them up real quick. Students, look around. There's hands raised in the air. Okay, you can put them down now. I do this to show that conflict does happen, and all of those family members that had their hand raised, they survived that conflict because they're here today. And so, students, you will survive a roommate conflict. But with that, I want to talk about the process and what we provide to you as residential life to help you with this roommate conflict that you might experience. So within the first few days of living on campus, you and your roommate will sit down with your resident advisor, and you'll create what's known as a roommate contract or a roommate agreement. environment. And in that, you'll talk about your personal values and your shared goals of what you want your living environment to be like. And so setting that tone of how messy is messy. If you would have asked me my freshman year, I would have said, messy is like until I can't see the floor anymore. Drove my freshman roommate insane. Or you'll set things like, what does it mean to study in the room? Can we have music on? Can we watch Netflix in the background? Or does it need to be completely silent? Or making the determination that maybe your room isn't the place to study, that you're going to do that in the neutral zone or the library or somewhere else on campus. And so you'll have that opportunity to make this contract or make this agreement, and then your RA will hold on to it. Know that you can always amend that agreement. And so let's say that you guys decide that it's okay for music to be on in the background while you're studying, but 6 weeks in you learn, oh, I can't have music on in the background. This is not working for me. You can go back and sit down with your RA and your roommate and then amend that agreement. And so think of it as like a living document that can constantly be amended. And then when the time does come and you have a disagreement or there's a conflict that arises, your RA will sit down with you and your roommate and talk through the conflict that has arisen and then reflect back on the agreement to see if it's in violation of that agreement that you guys made with each other, and then come to a mediation. So come to a resolution of that. And then there will be a period of time where you're going to work that out. More often than not through this process, we find that the conflict process, there was something that happened. They were able to work through that and then remain roommates through that freshman year. Know that if the time does come, and let's say that it's an unsafe situation, so where you are feeling unsafe or you are putting your roommate in an unsafe situation, know that the Department of Residential Life will act swiftly to remedy that unsafe situation, which may mean a housing relocation. So, now that we've talked through that, I have a homework assignment for the students in the room. I know you guys all thought that you were done with school and done with homework for the summer, but this one hopefully should be easy. When you go home from summer preview, talk to your families about what type of living environment that you want to be in your first year at Creighton. So talk about those things of, can you study with background noise? How messy is messy? Is it the floor is completely covered, or are you like my freshman year roommate and need everything off of the floor? So have those conversations, so that way when you come back in August and you're moving in with your roommate, that conversation is a little bit easier to have with the RA and your roommate.
All right, thank you, Kristen. So from my perspective with housing assignments, we don't make any room changes over the summer. So when you get that roommate assignment, that's your roommate, and we freeze that for the first 2 weeks of the semester. And that's due to like some space concerns, and we want you guys, if there are conflicts, to work with our staff and get to the bottom of those things and resolve them. So no room changes the first 2 weeks, but you will be able to change your meal plans. So we're going to talk a little bit about meal plans. We partner with Sodexo to provide an on-campus dining experience that meets our students' needs. We're super excited about Brandeis Dining Hall, which is conveniently located by our freshman residence halls, and it's being completely redone all summer long. It's going to open in August, and it'll be brand new for you guys. It's going to be expanded, way more options, a lot of what they call action stations, where they're preparing the food right in front of you, and you can have more customization that way. If you guys are interested and you have dietary restrictions or just questions about it, I know Sodexo will have representatives, maybe a chef. I can't remember who will be there, but they'll be right outside following this presentation as well, so you guys can talk about that. When we announce our hall assignments, we're going to mention the meal plans, and so you're going to be auto-enrolled in the 12 meal plan. And you're going to be able to change that through the first week of classes. So that way you can kind of experience what your schedule's like when you're dining and kind of make sure you pick the right plan for you. So you're going to have 4 different options for meal plans, from the all access plan that is basically whenever the dining hall's open, you can go. That would be mine. So you can choose that one. And then we have plans that are 15, 12, or 9 times per week where you can go to the dining hall and eat. And then each meal plan comes with an allotment of dining dollars. Dining dollars is like money loaded onto your student ID card that you can use at our retail locations. So like if you want a coffee right before class here in the Harper Center, or you want to go to Starbucks in the student center, you can use your dining dollars. We have a lot of meal options in Scott Student Center that you guys can choose from, or there's other different locations throughout campus. So we'll talk to you guys about that if you have specific questions following the presentation. So with that, I think I covered everything. We'll have time for questions after this.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's in your hall besides just your residence hall room and maybe some resources that we'll cover above here. So in every residence hall, we have a community space and lounge. It's usually located in the middle of the hallways in the actual residential spaces. There are also lobby areas as well in every hall that usually have furniture and TVs, computers, and things like that for you to use. Those are great spaces to meet people at. There's a lot of studying going on there. There's also social time there. I know our student staff and residential life, they enjoy having programs in those spaces because they're kind of centrally located. So very heavily utilized. Make sure you check those out when you get into your hall. We have community restrooms in every hall for guests as well as the students, so that's an option there. There's also community kitchens in every hall if you like to cook. Or if there's a program going on with our student staff, I know they like to do that as well, have some cooking programs. Again, keeping in mind, maybe learn how to cook so you don't burn something and set off a fire alarm when you get here. We also have chapel and prayer spaces that are in every hall. We believe at Creighton University, as a part of our Jesuit mission, that spiritual development is a very important piece and crucial piece of the student experience. So those are available to you as well. And then lastly, this is kind of a cool feature we have. We have a printer in every hall. If you don't want to go to the library late at night, you don't want to go to the student center, or if you just want to roll out of bed, print out your paper, go to class, seen that happen a lot, we have that available for you as well.
Awesome. So now,
All right, so broad level speaking, that's what's kind of in the halls. What about for each specific room? Each student will get a twin extra long bed and a desk and a chair, okay, to study with. And then you also have a space to hang your clothes, and then either a closet or built-in dresser for drawers and things like that. And then there's a garbage bin and a recycling bin in the room. That sounds really boring, right? But those are all great things. We have Wi-Fi in the rooms and cable as well that come with your room, so you can set that up. And all of our beds come with lofting materials. So like Cameron mentioned earlier, space is at a premium. A lot of our students choose to loft their beds. And because of that, we go ahead and loft them up already. So when you move in, your bed will be lofted, and if you want to lower it down, you can do that after you check in to your room. So that's kind of a brief overview, but let's take a look at a little video we made that shows a typical room in Kiewit.
there we go. Yay, this is super exciting. So now we're going to do a brief overview of all the halls, starting with Kiewit Hall. Kiewit Hall is one of our first year residence halls. It is home to about 470 residents. Kiewit Hall is known for pretty much going through the most ping pong paddles in a year. So if you are an avid ping pong player, this is the place for you. This is great. Kiewit Hall is also home to the Freshman Leadership Program, which is a co-ed leadership development living learning community. Their resident director is seen here, Isaac Ortega. He is from Wisconsin, so Wisconsin in the house, yes. Awesome, super exciting. Isaac is currently living his best life traveling. So in August, he will be super excited to meet all of his Kiewit residents. Oh my gosh, who is this? This is exciting. So this is arguably one of the best residence halls on campus. This is Gallagher Hall. Yeah, it is home to about 190 residents. Yeah, that resident director is a fantastic person, Chris Hill. He is from Chicago, Illinois, so Chicago in the house. Yes, yes, come through. Yes, Chi-Town in the house. Yeah, Gallagher is a great place. What it's known for is all of the amazing stories that you will be a part of and experience throughout the year. It does not cease to fail that some Creighton alumni who lived in Gallagher Hall freshman year will talk about the amazing time that they had in Gallagher. So if you are fortunate enough to be a part of this community, you're going to have some times. It's going to be great.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you about our other two residence halls made for first-year students. So the next one is Swanson Hall. It's a bit unique than the other three. It's also home to sophomore students as well. So it's a co-ed freshman and sophomore residence hall. It's home to the honors program. So anybody in the honors program in the room right now? Cool, awesome. See, this is where you guys will be living on the 9th floor. You get an awesome view of downtown or midtown, depending on what side you're on. Currently looking for another resident director to join our team. They'll be with us this fall, so we don't unfortunately have a picture of them right now, but they will be here with us, rest assured. And then the last one is Degelman Hall, same size as Gallagher, so about 190 residents in there as well. Ms. Catherine Cole is the resident director. She is also living her best life traveling at the moment, so she's not here with us today. A standout feature of Degelman Hall is they have an enormous basement where there's a lot of community space that happens, a lot of programming, a lot of other social activities and just gatherings down there. So it's an awesome space. If you get there, I really encourage you to check that out.
Well, good morning again. I'm Trevor Sandage, as you might have already heard, and I'm the president for our Inter-Residence Hall Government. I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about getting involved on campus, and more specifically about IRHG. So what is IRHG? Well, acronomically, we stand for Inter-Residence Hall Government. And while we do a lot of important things on campus, what I'm really going to highlight to you guys today is the opportunity in front of each of you. So as Creighton students, we have a lot of power, and our voices carry a long ways on campus. Over the past year, we've had hundreds of campus partners attend our General Assembly meetings to gain our student perspective on different new programs and other campus building projects to learn what we want as students. And so when you get on campus, I highly encourage you to join a student organization where your voice can be heard. Now, if you're looking to become a leader in your residence hall, that's where we come in. I would highly encourage you to join Inter-Residence Hall Government via your RHC, or Residence Hall Council. The RHCs are the official voice of communication between the students and the Department of Residence Life. And through that, you'll have the opportunity to write and pass legislation to improve community living, as well as the opportunity to host programs to build community throughout your hall. And now there are 5 key positions in each Residence Hall Council. First is the president. So the president is in charge of leading the RHC members, assisting in writing campus-wide legislation, as well as taking part in our new IRHC presidential leadership training. The next position is the vice president, and the vice president is in charge of co-leading the RHC with the president, as well as having the opportunity to work with the finances behind what makes a resident hall council. Up next, one of a very unique position is the Service, Faith, and Justice Ambassador. They work closely with our community partners, which I'll talk about here soon, about different ways to link service to the residence halls. Next, we have our senators. Senators are very expendable and do a lot of fun things, including kind of leading the programming efforts for the halls. And then finally, and perhaps most important, are the floor representatives. And this is a great way where you guys as freshmen can get involved on campus in a great way. So the floor representatives kind of serve as that voice for the floors and also assist in other operations around the hall. If you have any questions about any of these positions, feel free to see me outside at our table. right outside the Harper Auditorium here, or email me at irhdpresident@creighton.edu. And so the next program I talked about a little bit is our community partner program. One of the most unique aspects of living in Creighton is this community partner program. Some time ago, IRHG decided to build this program to link each of our residence halls with a service agency and the local greater Omaha and Council Bluffs area. And so with the service partners, we send students each week to the different service sites. Examples including having a clothing drive in Hewitt Hall for Open Door Mission, as well as sending residents each week to serve dinner at the Sienna Francis House for Swanson Hall residents. And you can see some of our other community partners there with Gallagher and Degelman Hall. And then the last program I want to talk to you a little bit about today is our on-campus marketing program. You should be receiving mailings throughout the summer for this incredible opportunity to get high-quality carpets and linens delivered to your residence hall room hassle-free. That's correct. If you order it through us via OCM, we'll actually put it in your room for you so that when you get there in the fall, it'll be all ready to go. Again, if you have any questions about that, you can certainly come talk to me out at our booth. I just want to end in saying how happy and excited we are that you all are here. Creighton has so many incredible opportunities for freshmen students to get involved, and I highly encourage you to do so. Just 1 year ago, I was sitting in your seat, so don't be afraid to stand up, be a voice, be a difference, and be awesome with IRHG. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Trevor, for telling us about how we can get involved more. And so now I want to take a moment and talk to you about what this all means. So why did we spend the last 40-ish minutes or so talking to you about what to bring to your residence hall, the policies, how to find a roommate, and how to get involved? It's because our goal as Residential Life is to intentionally develop community. And so it's the goal of the resident directors and myself as a part of the central leadership team to provide the students a safe space that they can return home from classes to study, to socialize, and to sleep in. And so how we do this, it would help if I advanced the slide, is through intentional community development. Look, that was nice. And so these are our 6 programming competencies. And so this is what we desire for our students that live on campus to learn in their time living on campus with us. And so through this, we tailor all of our programs to meet these 6 competencies. And so during your time living on campus, expect to learn more about yourself and learn about those around you. You will be learning about service and faith and how that intersects with justice in the Jesuit tradition. We're also going to help you guys build relationships with one another, so the people that are on your floor, within the building, with your roommate, at the same time, while also upholding diversity and inclusivity, and so making sure that it's a safe space that all individuals feel welcomed in our home. And so be excited for these. We are excited to do these. It provides us a unique programming opportunity to do some really fun stuff within the residence halls. And you'll be able to learn and advance on these levels for your first 2 years. If you want to continue living with us past your first 2 years of the live-in requirement, you can apply for our on-campus living for juniors and seniors, which will be in our upper class apartment buildings.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. All right. That's kind of our time. Next steps for us, broadly speaking, with summer is Welcome Week. So we're really excited for that and all the fun and new experiences that'll provide. You'll get more information about Welcome Week emailed out to you, which brings me to my last point. You guys are using your Creighton emails, right? Everyone logging on and checking that. The emails is the main way that Housing and Residential Life are going to communicate with the student. So like your housing assignment and roommate and all that information, meal plan stuff that I talked about, that's going to come through your email. It's also the main way the university communicates with you. So like important stuff like billing information, that'll come through there. So it's a really good idea to be logging into your Creighton email, checking that frequently now and throughout the rest of the summer, okay?